Okay, so today we're going to be working on the idea of doing network analysis, and one of the ways that we can do network analysis is to collect data from a common social networking site, which of course we all know, Twitter. And so this is an example of our endpoint. Basically what we have here is a graph of influential users on Twitter that are speaking about the Massachusetts gubernatorial campaign, which, as you know, is now in its final week. We started to get involved in the idea of visualizing data, and this is often referred to as big data or data mining. And so one of the ways that we can use visualizations and algorithms to make sense of what's influential or which users are influential is we can sort by what's known as the betweenness centrality algorithm. And so what this algorithm allows us to do is to identify users or topics that are especially influential to the network. So one of the things that we can do with this is we can take large amounts of data and we can distill it down into a small number of influential users. And once we know who's influential, we can get a sense of what they are saying and to whom they are saying it. The way that our system works is that we start with what's known as the Twitter Collection and Analysis Toolkit, TCAT for short. And what this allows us to do is to pick any number of keyword or words about a given topic, and we can take those words and put them out into Twitter, and then we can collect them. One of the most useful ways for us to identify influential users on a given topic is to look at what's known as a co-mention graph. So once we extract this co-mention graph file, which is a network file simply of users and their mentioning activity, we can visually and algorithmically sort this information using the open source software program known as Gephi. So one of the nice and really useful features of the TCAT system is that we can simply, with one click, go from this interface to an actual network file that we can use to make sense of, sort, and visualize the network. In any visualization of social data or anything else, there are three important features. The first is what we call spatialization, which is where do different users fit within the network in terms of a way of looking at it as you would a map. The second most important feature is the size of the nodes. And any network analysis is based on what are called nodes and edges. And the nodes for us simply represent circles. They are just circles, and we can identify those circles with a label, which is the user's name. And the last point that we need to consider is color. And color for us is a way to identify different communities and how densely connected users are within those communities. There's a lot of value in this sort of research because as communicators, there's always a challenge for us to know if what we're saying is being received the way that we intended. Historically speaking, it's been very difficult for us to know if this has actually been the case. But now we have a near real-time way to monitor what's being said, who's talking, and how our story is being received. And if we think about what we can do with this information, if we're a journalist or a PR person or an advertiser, we might want to really engage with certain members of these different groups, right? People on the left, the people on the right, they might not be so persuaded, but some of these others that are existing here in different communities, they might be the sorts of people we want to target in terms of messaging or in terms of engagement, right? And if we're a journalist, we could use this also as a way to identify potential sources of information that could bring new color and new life to the sort of reporting that we're doing. Anybody can learn how to make sense of network analysis in a simple and intuitive sort of format. And to go from collecting data from the TCAT to visualizing it is a step that can take as little as 10 to 15 minutes. And so this is something that we really want to develop and train people in.